This is the Difference Sports Podcast Show.
Hello and welcome back. Week 7 of the Different Sports Podcast Show. We're shooting this one from the press box before a field hockey game. It's getting done later in the week for pretty obvious reasons, unfortunately, so we're going to try and get through it. Start out like we do each week with our picks at the high school, college, and professional level. High school games last week, I went 7-3. 2 of my 3 losses were to Indians mascots, Shamokin and Muncie. Both lost. So I went 7-3 last week. I'm 47-13 overall. This week's picks. Picking Loyalsock to beat Mifflinburg. Danville to beat Montoursville. Muncie to beat Montgomery. Selinsgrove to beat Shamokin. Lewisburg to beat Shikellamy. Central Columbia to beat South Williamsport. Wellsboro to beat Milton. Bloomsburg to beat Warrior Run. Canton to beat Sayre. And Southern Columbia to beat Jersey Shore. College, my best week so far. I went a perfect 5-0 last week. Puts me at 16-9 overall. This week's picks. In a rivalry, I have Oklahoma over Texas. Another interesting matchup in the ACC. NC State is now ranked. I have them defeating Boston College. SEC showdown, LSU taking on the Florida Gators. I have the LSU Tigers in that one. Big Ten matchup, Michigan State, I think, handles Northwestern, and Notre Dame, I have them continuing their string of on the roll, especially their offense, and I think they're going to beat Virginia Tech. NFL games. First time, again, best week, 5-0 in the NFL games last week as well. That puts me at 14-6 overall. Matchup of last year's NFC Championship game has the Eagles taking on the Vikings. I'm picking Philadelphia in that one. Jaguars taking on the Chiefs. Arguably the 2 best teams in the AFC. I pick Jacksonville to win that one. Other games, I have the Rams beating the Seahawks, the Panthers beating the Giants, and a team that I thought in the preseason was my favorite to win the Super Bowl, the Steelers. They're just in a mess right now. I'm going with Atlanta to beat the Steelers. So hopefully for you Pennsylvania fans, I'm wrong on that one, but I don't have much faith in the Steel Curtain, especially. The offense can score points, but the defense is just sluggish to say the least. Okay, now I'm going to welcome on my 2 guests. Ty Rodarmel coming in from my left, and Nate Crowell coming in from my right. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, thank you.
Pair of juniors here. Obviously, the season's going good. Southern Columbia is now 6-0. They will play host right in front of us. If you know Tiger Stadium in the press box, they'll be on this field Friday night, taking on Jersey Shore to try and move to 7-0, and that would be their 68th consecutive regular season victory, moving them closer to the state record of 74. And this winning streak started in 2011 and has continued through 2018. So I'm going to start with Ty. Being a fullback, take listeners through the difference of that position, the fullback position, compared to a running back's position. And obviously, in a lot of offenses, fullbacks are just blockers. They're not in for every formation, especially with how pass-happy the leagues have become. So sometimes fullbacks are non-existent on teams. Take me through how it is being used, for one, playing the fullback, tough-nosed position, and also having the opportunity to be involved pretty much every play.
Yeah, well, the fullback's pretty much like the brute of the wing tee, as my dad likes to hype me up for that. Making A-gap blocks, protecting the quarterback when he's making his passes, and especially blocking on the edge from the blitz rush.
Right.
And, lead blocking up through the hole for, like, Gavin or Gage. It's a different look than what a spread would be.
Yeah. Okay, Nate, looking at a different phase of football. Obviously, you start on defense now at linebacker, but especially last year, both you and the guy sitting next to me, Ty, the two of you were kind of the leaders of the special teams unit last year, coming up with huge tackles and routes, and also in close games, ultimately getting you guys to winning the state championship. How important for the listeners is it that don't really even think of special teams, they just think offense and defense? How important is special teams? And talk about how a big tackle or a change in field position can shift the landscape of a game.
Well, what people need to understand is that special teams may be a small part of the game, but every game starts with either kickoff or kick return.
Absolutely, good point.
And if, let's say, kickoff, if you get a tackle on the 5-yard line, you're in excellent position on defense, and their offense is in bad shape. And if you return it, you have the chance to return it for a touchdown, start the game off with 6 points right away, or just get good field position for your offense.
Absolutely, and I wasn't even thinking of that. I know how important it is, but like you said, starting off every game and then also every second half as well. Ty, your father, you already just talked about him. He was a starting running back on this school's first ever state championship. Obviously, there's 8 of them now, but back in 1994, he was a part of Coach Roth's first ever state championship game. Obviously, you weren't born for it, but obviously, I'm sure you've had conversations with your dad. What kind of things has he instilled in you to become a champion? Obviously, you guys were last year, but now in a starting kind of permanent role. What has he given you advice-wise, or any other former state champion for that matter?
Well, you know, he talks about the state championship a lot. Well, not a lot, but when we're talking about football, he brings it up that year. And I think one of the most things that stuck with me is we were talking, I asked him how many stats he had his senior year. He goes, I never really worried about my stats. I worried about what we put up on the scoreboard as a team. And, you know, that phrase really stuck with me, thinking, you know, it's a team sport.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about myself. I got to get done what I got to get done to help the team. And that's just helped me as a player and as a teammate.
And that's one thing, listeners, that obviously makes Southern Columbia so good each year. Doesn't matter if a guy has 200 yards rushing or 25 tackles in a game. If they're on the losing end of the scoreboard, it's a failure in comparison. On the other hand, guy could have maybe 5 carries for 15 yards, but made 3 touchdown leading blocks, or had 3 tackles only, and they were 3 tackles that ended drives, or whatever. There's so many different ways to look at it, and the main reason, in my opinion, besides the great coaching staff and the ability to work in the off-season and dedication, it's the fact of being selfless, for that matter. Nate, kind of getting into the family tree here a little bit. I know your family, for generations, has been big into training by lifting. How important is off-season training? Obviously, some guys go into the weight room and they sign the book. I'm not saying Southern or other schools, whatever, just to show that they're there, which in reality they could be sitting on the couch and doing the exact same thing and saving gas from driving. But to be in there and know that the time you're in there, every rep, every second, every push, pull, depending on the machine or whatever free weight you're using, is an opportunity to get better. Just how can weightlifting improve, other than the obvious thing of getting stronger?
Well, lifting in the off-season is important because once the season ends, you only have a small amount of time before the next season starts.
Yep.
And so the longer you're in there, the more results you will get, and the more results, higher weights and everything like that, and not even the weights either. It's running, cardio, and everything involved. The more time you put into that, the better you'll perform on the field, and that's just how everyone around this area has been raised.
Absolutely, and like you said, it's not just about who can lift the most, do the highest amount of weight on a squat or bench press or whatever. It's being able to take advantage and pushing yourself to the limit and reaching goals that you didn't know you could reach. Ty, last question for you. This junior class that you guys are both a part of and have been involved and played with all these other guys up through youths. It's obviously looked at as one of the best, if not the best, classes to ever come through the school. Besides a talent level, what do you think is the key to the amount of success that you guys as a whole have had?
Oh, the key is definitely chemistry, in my opinion. We played from midgets up into junior high, JV, now varsity. We just had all these years to play together and get to know each other, and we know what each and everyone's strengths and weaknesses are. So I think that really shows the talent that each of us have.
And you guys are willing to congratulate each other. It's not like one person scores a touchdown, so another person thinks, well, I have to score a touchdown, or on your side of the ball, somebody made a tackle or a sack, I have to do that, and I'm going to be out of position. You guys know the ultimate goal is to finish 16-0 with the state championship, and as of right now, obviously a lot of games and big steps ahead, but you guys are on the right track. Nate, final question for you. Coach Andy Mills, most people know Coach Roth, rightfully so, third coach ever to win 400 games, the quickest to do so. State record 8 state championships. You guys are ranked #1 in the state, but assistant coaches have been a huge part in helping Coach Roth out, and a lot of them have been there a long time, including Coach Mills, who's been there the entire time of Coach Roth's head coaching as the defensive coordinator. What do you think allows for his defenses over the years? It doesn't seem to matter what players are there, what year it is, who you're playing against, but every game it just seems like the defense dominates.
Well, he's been here ever since my dad was in high school.
Yep.
So the amount of years of experience he has, it helps him so much, and he just has a way with the players. He just knows what player will do good in a certain position on defense, like if he's fast enough to cover a person, or if he's strong enough to take on lead blockers, or linebacker, everything involved.
Yes.
He just understands defense like no other coach I've ever seen before.
And I can speak for that. Like you said, your dad, I played for him as well, starting in the secondary, and just his attention to detail, the amount of film he, along with the rest of the staff, studies. I mean, they're just going to outwork any other staff, and when you have the talent to go along with it, it makes it almost unbeatable. Okay, this is the segment in our show we started a couple weeks ago called the Talk Walk, where we talk about popular topics and walk right into them. Some things are different than others, but this week, not going to get into anything really out of the that's blown up in the media. 3 points that I definitely want to hit on that are extremely important. First one, keep the injured player from Jersey Shore. Tigers are taking on the Bulldogs tomorrow night, but they had a player who was in a coma from a preseason injury. Keep him in your prayers. He's out of the coma now, but he's got a long recovery ahead. And from everybody at Southern Columbia, if you watch this, keep fighting. It's certainly a scary thing to happen. And last week, another scary scene. Southern Columbia was at South Williamsport. There was a collision, violent collision between two players, perfectly legal. It was just one football player hitting another football player. But the young man from South Williamsport was transported to the hospital. It was a scary scene. Great news to know that he didn't suffer any long-term injuries, no broken bones. He has a concussion, but I've talked to numerous people, and good to hear that he's on the right track. If you're watching this, just know that, again, Southern Columbia is with you. Unfortunately, injuries are part of any sport, especially football, but just keep fighting and get back to the field hopefully next year in your junior year. And the last one, this has definitely been one of, I mean, I've been teaching, this is my 5th year at Southern Columbia. It's been the toughest week at this school in my life. I know Southern's had tragedies when I was in school and before and after, but in terms of just recently, it's been obviously a tragic week. Many people know a high school student died unexpectedly. The young girl was just brilliant young girl, nice to everyone. Was going to get inducted into the National Honor Society. It's just I mean, one thing you can do is keep the family in your prayers and just anybody that's been affected, because it's just been complete devastation. So, and I know I'm speaking for two guys next to me and everybody else. It's just, when you're in a school, it's one big family, and I don't want to say the wrong thing or add anything, because it's at the point now where the healing has to begin, and you have to keep the family and everyone that was affected by it in your prayers and thoughts. So definitely not three things that I would have ever wanted to or thought I would be talking about on this show, but unfortunately it's a reality. So all right, now to get our moods off of that, hopefully for at least a couple minutes, reach the part in our show where we're asking trivia questions. And I asked some of your guys' teammates some, I'm not going to throw their names out there, in your grade, what should I ask these guys about? And they said, I don't know, they like all crazy stuff like superheroes and all this stuff. I was like, well, I don't know anything about superheroes, so I'm not going to ask superhero questions because I don't even know if I'd be right with them. So what I've done, being that you both, I mentioned it and a lot of people forget about it or don't think about it, being that you guys have been all over the place on special teams last year, this year, I'm going to take you on a ride all over the country, and you're going to have to tell me which state this event or whatever landmark that I'm going to say, which state this is located in. Since you're both in 11th grade, I'm going to ask 11 questions. So, number your papers 1 to 11. And again, these are going to be 11 states. The one hint and the only hint that I will give you is none of these states will repeat, okay? So I don't have it. There are 11 different states. Not that that makes that big of a difference, but
Thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you.
number 1, Mount Rushmore. Obviously, you guys know it's a carving of 4 presidents' faces on a mountain. What state is Mount Rushmore located in? So this is where you guys probably want to hide your notepads from each other.
I don't want that shit looking off me.
Which state? All right. I had both of you guys. I know you're both smart enough. The Kennedy Space Center, which has been the launch site for every United States human space flight since 1968 and currently operates as a launch site for unmanned rockets. Where is the Kennedy Space Center located? Again, I'm only looking for the state. Okay, this one, in my opinion, will be the toughest so far. The third question. The Riverwalk is located in this state. The Riverwalk.
Yeah. It's a pretty easy one.
Okay. Number 4. Yellowstone National Park stretches across 3 states. But one of these 3 states contains 96% of Yellowstone National Park. Which state is the majority, almost all of it, located in? Yellowstone National Park. I know you guys both have heard of it before,
Yeah.
but do you know where it's located if you ever visit it without having to Google it? So that's number 4.
Come back down.
Number 5, the Grand Canyon is located in the northern part of this western state. The Grand Canyon is located in the northern part of this western state. Takes us to number 6. Jefferson City is the capital of this U.S. state. Jefferson City is the state capital of this U.S. state. I know you guys both at one time learned your 50 state capitals. This is one of them, Jefferson City.
Yeah, 5
Pretty
years
sure
ago.
I failed that test.
Number 7. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is located in this state.
I should know this.
I thought this was one that you guys both would actually know. No one does the type of music you guys as a team listen to. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is located in this state. That was question 7. Question 8. A well-known prison called Alcatraz is located on an island in which state? Alcatraz.
It's from zombies.
Okay, so the state, all right?
Ooh.
I know, that's why I said it. You got too specific and we're putting the city even. Okay, number 9. The current president of the United States, Donald Trump, was born in this state. Donald Trump, what state was he born in?
I don't even know that.
That was question 9. Question 10. You guys know Pennsylvania's the Keystone State, obviously.
Yeah.
This state is known as the Sunflower State. The Sunflower State. Number 11. The Constitution, or I should say our Constitution, was written in this state, which is also one of the 13 original colonies. Where was the Constitution written? Which state? And that was question 11. That was question 11.
Oh shit.
Are you like one
I think
behind?
I'm one behind.
All right, I'm going to go through these quickly again. Number 1, Mount Rushmore. Number 2, the Kennedy Space Center. Number 3, the Riverwalk. Number 4, Yellowstone National Park. Number 5, the Grand Canyon. Number 6, Jefferson City is the capital of this state. 7, where's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? 8, what state is Alcatraz in? 9, what state was Donald Trump born? Number 10, state nickname is the Sunflower State. And number 11, Constitution was written in this state.
I know when I messed up on.
Okay, so do you want to guess? You guys have answers for everything at least.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't know, at least guess.
Yep. Gotcha.
Okay? So, number 1, what do you guys have?
I'm North Dakota.
North Dakota? South Dakota? The answer is South Dakota. Mount Rushmore is South Dakota. So, Ty, put a +1. Nate, cross it off. Number 2, the Kennedy Space Center.
Florida.
Florida is correct. Both of you get a point. The Riverwalk, number 3.
Utah.
Illinois.
No, I mean, kind of in the middle, I guess, distance-wise. It's Texas. So you guys can cross off number 3. Yellowstone National Park, where's the majority of it?
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
No. Wyoming?
Oh my god.
Oh, I was gonna put that too.
Well, you should have.
I should have.
Number 5, where's the Grand Canyon?
Colorado.
Arizona.
No, that means the other one's wrong.
Cross that off. Okay. Jefferson City. State capital.
Missouri.
Missouri's correct.
Oh my god.
Louisiana's Baton Rouge. Okay? So you got 1 up.
Nate, everyone knows that.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Dude, I put Nevada.
Nevada.
Put New York.
You're closer, but it's not going to count. Ohio.
Unless that one's wrong. All right.
8. Where's Alcatraz?
California.
Yeah, California.
And you were even more specific and said San Francisco. There's not a bonus point, but you both get the 1 point for that. Number 9. Where was Donald Trump born?
I just put New York.
Ohio.
New York's correct.
That's true.
What's the Sunflower State?
Kansas.
Kansas.
Kansas? Kansas? Kansas is correct. Good job.
Yeah.
Last one. Where was the Constitution written?
Pennsylvania.
I put Massachusetts.
Massachusetts? Well, that's a 13 original colony. However, Ty's correct with Pennsylvania.
Oh, I broke
Count
it.
your totals.
I got 4.
I got 6. I broke it.
So,
I have 6.
Ty
No
had
way.
6. Nate had 4, that reaches the end of our show. Thank you guys, both of you, Ty and Nate, for being guests today. So don't forget, as always, tomorrow night, Friday night, I'll be doing the play-by-play like I did 2 weeks ago. Tom Hughes will be joining me as the color commentator as the Southern Columbia Tigers play host to the Jersey Shore Bulldogs. Southern Columbia is looking to move to 7-0. And then, as always, on Saturday morning, you can go on to pafootballnews.com and read my weekly story. So, obviously, football's only a small part of life, and unfortunately, we learn about that every day. Sometimes it hits closer to home than others, and this week just has been tragic to say the least. So with that being said, keep everyone that's been affected in your thoughts and prayers, and hopefully next week is a brighter one. Goodbye.